What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back, boys and girls. It is Monday, February the 20th, 2023. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet, aka the blue floating marble out there. If you're here in Canada, what's up? Down south in the US, as per usual. Further down south in Mexico. Wow, almost had a brain aneurysm right there with the south right there, but it happens, man. Further down south, South America, east, we're talking Africa, Asia, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, all the islands. Whether you're in the North or South Pole, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. I'm just excited to be kicking butt, taking names one day at a time with you beautiful people out there, you silly gooses and ganders out there. Oh man, what a beautiful time to be alive. It's 2023 and we're already almost done with February, man. It is, feels like time's flying by, which it is. That's the case with time, and regardless, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. We talk about everything under the beautiful sun, and where can you find these videos? If you're asking me, I'm glad that you asked. You can find these videos on Instagram, on YouTube for the full-length videos, and you can check out patreon.com/Rob Sadri. Name of the show is called Glad You Made It, with your boy Rob Sadri, doing it every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Thank you very much. So let's have some fun today. Let's just shoot the shit. Let's just have some fun. It's a man, oh man, I'm excited for many of things. I'm just like, I'm in that mood right now. I'm in that mood. I know you're in that mood. Which mood is it? We got plenty of moods, but you know what I'm talking about. That mood that you're gonna be, oh man, you're just gonna be handling it. Whatever it is that needs to be handled, we're handling it together. And it's little teeny tiny increments here and there. What are we even talking about? I don't even know. Just trying to shoot the shit, have some fun, get some ideas out there. Man, oh man, ladies and gents, what is going on in and around the world today? A lot of stuff, fun stuff, but before we get, here's the thing, an idea that I've been thinking about, that I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals have been thinking about. Why don't we program the AI and the chat GPTs to come up with a formula of how to penetrate the market, infiltrate the market, right? And how to make everybody millionaires. Putting it out there, you're like, but we can't do it, but we can. That's why we build the technology, so to help humanity and all that jazz, right? So, instead of like programming it how to scan, rectums and, whatever else the AI is designed to do, it's like, oh, facial recognition, asshole recognition, let me zoom in on your butthole, let me just see how many freckles you got, let me see if you got any, we working with dingleberries, or we working with a loose strand of hair down, what's going on, man? I gotta get to, that's what it is, but that's what we're programming these bad boys and bad gals. It comes down to the programmer and the designer of the so why don't we run a program and be like, yo, how do we make everybody into millionaires by just investing through the stock? How do we give the average person insider information, access to something, because that's what it is. And then because some people do that, a lot of people do that, and it's just like, oh, how does money get produced? It's just being printed a lot of times, you know what I mean? Or we could, I've been thinking, we could also change our names to, right now I feel like a good name, you could, because I feel like a lot of things, it's hard to get, if you want to start a small business, it may be difficult to get a good rate or even a loan for a small business, unless you're willing to change your name to like Zelensky or like Ukraine. Then you can get all the monies, then you can get pensions, then you can have a little something in your pocket, but that's just, that's one way of doing it. Other ways, I'm saying, let's get these bad boys and bad gals that we've made, these artificial intelligence and the robots and the robotics, you know what I mean? Instead of Boston Robotics doing, parkour, I don't need you to be doing parkour. We've done parkour. I don't need you to do parkour better than us. We've done this shit. I don't need you to throw a box in the air while twisting and turning. I need you to sit down behind a computer or maybe talk with another fellow, AI bot and just be like, yo, how do we penetrate the market so that everybody becomes millionaires overnight? We could do it. We could legit do it. So somebody run that. You're like, why don't you run it? I'm too lazy to open a chat GPT. I noticed you have to open an account, put in an email, and you lost me at email. You know what I mean? I'm not just like willy-nilly going up and putting up emails. So if somebody's already put up an email, type in that little question: how do we make everybody millionaires? And then fun times will ensue. I assure you, good times will ensue. Everything, and it'll solve a whole bunch of minor little hiccups that we want to you want to help the environment, make people millionaires ASAP. That's what I'm. It's not fully cooked. We've never tried it, and that's why I'm putting it on the table, because we've never tried it. Alternatively, we could we could continue down, but like, what ifs, dog? Let's just get one of these bad boy programmers, just be like, yo, here's a bunch of info, figure it out. It's crazy stuff, man. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in and around the world. I've got my eye on tech, or rather the tech's got its eye on me. I don't know. It's one and the same, really, but I do see, like, it's little by little, things are, we're evolving, we're creating new, I see it in different parts of the world. You'll see little robots, AI robots delivering food in Japan or Japan. You feel me? And that's what it is. So it's driverless cars down the line. So many things are just like with tech, it's, so what could we do? I say we just, use what we got to our advantage. I'm just putting that on the table. And yeah, there's so many things to think about. Like, why is urine yellow? You know what I mean? Why not purple? Why not green? Why not red? Although I'm glad that it's not red, because that'd be a little bit freaky. Every time you took a whiz, red liquid came out your wiener or your little clam. You're like, if you're a lady, then you're like, is this period? No, it's not. Yeah, it's just a little urination. But if you're a fella, you'd be freaking out, because you're like, am I bleeding from my wiener? And that could be alarming. So maybe that's good. We could have gone with other colors. I'm just saying, why yellow? Why not green? Why not purple? So there's so many things to think about in and around the world today. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. It's Monday. Rocking and rolling on Monday, baby. Thank you for joining me again, ladies and gents. I've been watching more of The Last of Us, which is pretty dope, not gonna lie, but it got me to think about a lot of things, because simultaneously a lot of things are happening in and around the world that are, you could draw parallels from the series, or series similar to The Last of Us, or, it's like, oh, it's post-apocalyptic, it's post, it's a new beginning of sorts. It's, something's gone awry, something's gone sideways. It's a natural disaster, or it's a virus outbreak, or whatever, man-made or natural, whatever that means. So things to deal with, and then essentially you're left with a zombie sitch, or a nuclear accident. And that's what it is, man. Sometimes you you watch things, you read a little bit of news, and all of a sudden you're just like, man, it got me to think, what would I actually do in terms of, like, if there was like some sort of, don't want this obviously to happen, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, what would happen if there was some sort of, because we could easily, like, I don't know, maybe we won't have people turn into zombies, although that is very plausible, because we can quickly get into that, like, fear mentality, fight, flight, freeze, herd mentality, because we saw it during the pandemic. That was a good demonstration of how quickly people panic and just run to the stores and grab the toilet paper, grab the hand sanitizer. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for things to go awry and people starting to get into, like, whoever is remaining of the populace to get in some sort of herd mentality and do certain things in a particular way out of either fear or the sheer desire to just survive, because it's what it is. Because I'll read like many of you guys, or you're hearing it, or you'll see videos of just like, every part of the world is like technologically advancing, and we're pouring more and more into like military and testing this and creating that. And it's great. A lot of it is great. A lot of the stuff that gets created for the military, we get to use as the average populace on a daily, you know what I'm talking, like GPS devices, what's up Google Maps, you know what I'm talking, like they were like designed initially, I would assume, for, we're going into this territory, we need to know like radars, GPS, these are all things that like I'm assuming, evolved out of the military. So, and that's just one little teeny tiny example, but other things that you'll see is like you'll hear, man, North Korea is just like launching missiles into the Pacific, just test launch, and it's crazy because it doesn't register because like you're not there. At least I'm not there physically. But like I was thinking, man, if you're in like Japan, it must be like, you got like North Korea just testing missiles, and that's all North Korea does. It's just like it's man, very similar to like it's cray cray. It's crazy. So it just got me to think. I'm like, man, with all these different parts of the world developing their own thing, and like everybody's got sort of different ideologies, although at the end of the day we're all human beings and we all share very similar desires and wants and needs, but yeah, man, sometimes you'll be like, man, it seems a little bit inevitable, although I don't want anything like that to ever happen, but it does sort of seem like as we continue to go down the path of advancing technology, a little tit here, a little tat there, you inch forward from this direction, we'll inch forward from this direction, 1 inch at a time, 1 inch at a time. Down the line, you're like, man, even if nothing like quote unquote on plan goes array, there might be an accident here and there, or like, because you're fiddling around with like things, man, I don't even want to know what like a nuclear disaster would look like. That would be horrific, but that's what it is, man. It's definitely not off the table. Let's just put it that way. And watching The Last of Us, I'm just like, in case of an emergency, zombie apocalypse time, you gotta like fucking, it's The Last of Us. What do you do? I'm asking myself, like legit, maybe not even a zombie sitch, but like, some sort of, we need to like, what do you do? Where do you go? Do you go north, east, south, west? It's all things that you might think about. There are people who like genuinely dedicate their lives to this sort of thing, and I'm by no stretch of the imagination one of those people, but there's some legit, and good for them, because I guess like if anything does go, like you've heard of the term, I've heard of the term prepper, so I guess people, and there's varying degrees to that, but like how prepared am I? Nowhere near close of some sort of man, and that's the majority of us too. It's not like, what I mean, like what do? You grab a zombie apocalypse time, what do you even do? Is toilet paper gonna save you? Not really. Will you have a better experience if you're dealing with a couple of Charmaine squares and strips rather than loose leaves from the streets, or the local park or jungle that's around, because times get rough. You're like, oh man, we lost our basic amenities, and you forget how things are. So we take for granted what like everyday things provide for us, the comforts. Oh, you come inside, you flick on the light switch, the light is on, or you press the light switch, or you tell your light switch to, hey, light switch, turn on, because you got like one of those voice automated. You're already stepping towards the smart house, which is that's a trap house of its own, man. Oh, you didn't pay your whatevs. Lock the doors, fam. Lock the windows. This person can't leave. All of a sudden, it's like, what? You said something. Lock the doors. Shut the blinds. What? You said something. You did something. Turn on one song in his house or her house, and just play it on repeat. Let that be a little bit of just like, I'm just saying things get. So, what do you do? You try to, man, oh man. I mean, think about it. Even if you like, how. Yeah, it's blows my mind. I would, if there's a zombie sitch, legit zombie sitch, what would I do in a zombie sitch? I don't even have, like, that's the thing. It's I'm not trained with like weaponry or anything like that. I don't even have weapons, so it's not like, I'm just gonna go and grab my shotgun. I'm just gonna go grab all this ammo that it's so. In those times, you're just like, okay, what can I got kitchen cutlery that I could, put. I got 4 or 5 forks that I'm willing to I will easily, push comes to shove, I will easily go fork to your eye, zombie apocalypse time, fork to your eye, son, right there, gouge that shit out. And I'm hoping that it's like slow zombies, you know what I mean? One of them, just slower in pace, just a little bit fucking like, just taking it easy, a chill zombie. If they're fast-paced zombies, fam, I don't know, I might just be like, you know what? If there's a whole bunch of them, let's just get it over with. Let's just join the zombies, you know what I mean? We're something, man. I don't even know. Do you know, because it's like, what if they want to like, can zombies have babies? This has never been, I don't think this has been entertained before. Can you, if you become a zombie, let's say you're a reg person, you're Reg Tyler out there, just do your you're regular Tiffany out there, and you get bitten by a zombie. Can you couple with that zombie or another zombie, and like later on in life, after you like zombie around for 4 or 5 years, of just fucking like just walking ever so slowly, biting could you create your own zombie family by having intercourse, doing the sexuals, zombie style sexuals, body parts falling off? Ain't too shabby, you pick up an extra hand. Where this hand goes? Oh, it's not on your wrist anymore. Let me shove it up somewhere. And that's just like for better reach. If anything, you'll be more flexible as lovers. Because you're always like, oh man, if my body parts were a little bit more Mr. Potato Head, a little bit less action figure, just fucking stiff, all in one position, I'd have a little bit more versatility in the old love department. But that's just, what do you do? Do you have zombie babies? Where do you put them to school? Where would you even put your zombie kids? There is no zombie kids school, so now you got things to think about. Raising a zombie family, it's rough out there, man. So you gotta like, I would, I don't know what I'd do. I got kitchen cutlery. I could like, is there a song that we could like, program to like follow and like fucking like just play that song and like lead them out of town? Just like, can somebody like, if somebody's like willing to play the fiddle and just like, escort them out of, and you're like, well, we're gonna need one person to be playing the fiddle for the rest of their life so that they can, but that's, hey man, we're creating jobs at the end of the day. Somebody playing the fiddle with a whole, 1,000 people or zombies following him or her around the world, so that they're not stationary. It's the problem once they become stationary, because then they get bored, and they get hungry. If you keep them moving, they're always just moving. They don't even really, you know what I mean? Like, have a designated route, you know what I mean? For reg people, you'd be living outside of society, and then designated route every time somebody zombies, put them in the loop, dude. And then they're just like, oh, this song is amazing. And then fiddly diddly diddly, somebody's playing the fiddles, it's like a marching band, but with zombies, and not so much band activity going. I guess it's a band of men and women, former men and women, current men, women zombies, zom man, zom woman, men zombies, women zombies, wazombies, wazombies and muzombies, men zombies and female. We're still like figuring it out, but that's my thing. I would, what do you do? I say, we organize them and like lead them down, like, and it becomes sort of like a moving, traveling world fair, if you will. And regular people who'd survive the zombie apocalypse can just like be like, oh, it's traveling zombie apocalypse peepsies out there, and they're just like in a state of trance, just walking, drooling, nibbling on each other. I don't know, man. What do you do? It's that's what it is. So like, there's always real like things that happen in the world, and then there's consequences as well, because people are like, we're prone to natural disasters, we're susceptible to man-made disaster, a little combo of both sometimes. So this, that, and the other. Not to say these things are like, every day's a gift. That's what I'm saying, man. So in case of a zombie apocalypse, I try to talk, open dialogue. And nobody's ever tried talking to zombies, because everybody's just like, maybe if anything, they're more afraid of us than we are afraid of them. But then again, I don't have too much zombie experience. This is just coming from, because like nobody's ever had that like approach of like, what how does the zombie feel? How do you feel? It's always about the human perspective, how do you feel though? What grinds your gears? What gets you motivated, Mr. Zombie Man, Mr. Zombie Woman? What makes you tick? What drives you? What are you passionate about? What do you dream about? Is there something that you aspire to achieve one day? Because it's always like from a human perspective, so it's like a little bit selfish, but at the same rate, like we are like speaking like in terms of like animal hierarchy, we're top dog shit right here. We're top, you know, up until this point, top dog shit. But like at the end, like there might be newly introduced. Who knows? We're teetering on a lot of things. A lot of things. There might be an introduction to like, hey man, we do share the universe with other species and stuff. And who knows? Who knows? I'm always, I'd always like to, I hope we find life, or I hope other life finds us. I'm always like, hey, maybe maybe there's somebody else that's like higher tech, just like mellow vibes, higher tech. It's so much tech that they've gone beyond, because our tech is just like we make tech for you know putting on dominance and like inflicting whatevs, like, oh, territory, this, that. But like high tech shit is just like mellow, and like we could, but we wouldn't. That's the sort of, and I would assume, I would hope that it comes with a sort of level of like, man, we're, it's like, what, there's plenty of space for everybody, plenty of minerals for plenty of resources for everybody. You know what I mean? Just like, maybe some higher tech civilization, or like, species. Maybe, I don't know what their technology is. Maybe they're working with like magnets. Why don't we concentrate on magnets? Let's build a giant magnet and just suck all the minerals out of the old atmosphere, or like, you know what I mean? Like just make a large, I'm talking like big magnets, not, bigger than this. Big, you're like, that's pretty big, but big magnets, and just aim it at the sky, and then just pull whatever comes in. And, we might end up with a spaceship, y'all. We might end up with a spaceship. Will they be happy? I don't know. You might, get some magnets that like attract gold, fucking suck in the gold like that, and just dispense gold. And then meanwhile, you're also, what are you doing? Meanwhile, you're programming the ChatGPT to also invest that melted gold from space into the old market, dispense it amongst the populace, so that what? Yeah, that's right. Everybody becomes millionaires, dog. Fucking think about that for a second. Space, gold, and ChatGPT, fucking programming dollars for everybody. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm imagining. Yeah, but let's make a magnet, dude. What's like, what's the biggest magnet? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest magnet is actually in China. I forget how big it is, but it's pretty big. I don't know what we use it for, but let's make a bigger magnet. What would happen if China has a huge magnet and then we make another huge magnet out here in the West? Would the Earth squish together and like kind of become elongated because of the pressures of the magnet? Or we could probably redirect the energy so that they're opposing. So we could, either way, we're either going to squeeze the Earth or we're going to stretch the Earth. Potentially, we could, using magnets, which is pretty dope. Or we make like, we make two strong magnets opposing each other, one magnet on the top, or rather bottom, so three magnets, you know what I mean? And then we just like, through physics that I'm not too, knowledgeable about, through physics, we fucking aim the magnets, and we use the pressure of the magnets to push factor that everybody comfortably is familiar with. When it comes to magnets, there's two things that you need to know. The basics of magnets, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, is the push and pull factor. And if you introduce the third magnet, and then those beams are concentrated on that maybe lesser, weaker magnet, I don't even know what I'm saying, fucking pull push, son. And then we just like lift the Earth using magnetic vibrations. A little bit of sound wouldn't hurt either. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, we're like, oh, we're moving, or things are moving to us. We want it, instead of like always wanting to like go to other places, let's bring other places down here. What is Mars like? Let's, you know what I mean? Get it to come here instead of us going there. Get it to come here. You wanted to go to Mars? Bring Mars here. Would it be easier to do that? Instead of sending people over, why don't we send a few people over, anchor it down, pull it back down? It's up. Problem solved. Why is Mars so far away? It's only far away once, dude. until we clamp on, until we latch on with little fucking like little chains. Just go up there with a spaceship, attach the chains, fucking pulley lever system, start cranking, baby. Heave ho, let's go. You know what I mean? Just fucking crank it. In like 30 years, boom, like Mars is right next door. You want to vacate on a desert planet of sorts, you know, it's right there. You don't even need to go far. You can just like, you know, shimmy on down anytime you want. That's what I'm saying. It's fun things that we could be doing, you know. I'm just saying, you know, invest more in magnets. That's where I'm feeling. I feel like magnets are a thing. Alongside with lasers, I've always said that future is lasers, but magnets are not to be, you know, taken lightly. It could be, I don't know why China has a big magnet. What do they use it for? Are they pulling stuff in from the atmosphere? Are they the only ones pulling stuff in from the atmosphere, fam? Do we not have magnets of our own to pull stuff from the, is that what it's there for? What's it there for? What do they have a huge magnet for? I'd like to know more about your magnets, China. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Beautiful day to be alive. It is Monday. Wherever you are, I hope you are having I hope you're having a great start to your week. Start your Monday with a grand attitude, with the attitude of anything is possible. Almost anything is possible. Let's, you know, with a great attitude of everything is possible, but like almost everything is possible. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything is possible. What even is impossible if not just basically saying I'm possible? You know, and that's what we do around here. We put the I'm back in impossible. I'm possible is what I'm saying. You know what it is? It's just like it's like you know, it's like a abbreviation for, like, you know, when you say beloved, what you really mean is beloved Edward or beloved Edwin. So no same difference, one and the same, really. Point is, ladies and gents, that it is Monday, and again, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you're out there, maybe you're like, you know, maybe you're into the wildlife, maybe you're into nature, just going out there and you're like, man, I want to find a new species. I want to search the species and find a new one, and good on you, You're knee deep in the Amazon jungle. You are getting bitten and stung by every sort of species known and unknown to the human race. You're flaring up, you're choking, you're swole all over, but you've never had a day in the gym, so it's not that like positive swole. You're just having a difficult time breathing, man. But thanks to you, we now have, like, you know, we now know how to deal with like a specific mosquito bite down from the old Amazon. So thank you for doing that. Maybe you're, you know, maybe you're out there producing produce. You know what I mean? Maybe you're out there taking care of the essentials. Maybe you're a man or a woman that's, you know, generationally been working on a beautiful farm, that it's been part of the family. And guess what? Today is actually Family Day. It is a holiday. I should not forget that. It's a happy Family Day, everybody. At least here in Canada. I believe maybe in other places around the world as well. I'm not too sure. If it is, happy Family Day to you. If it's not, regardless, happy Family Day to you. So, you know, maybe you've had a family farm that you've been working on, it's been passed down generation after generation. You're planting seeds, you're yielding crop, you're going after it, and, you know, spring, summer, fall, winter time. I don't know how you do it in winter time, but then you got to rotate the crops. But you know what you're doing. The point is that it's Family Monday, it's Family Week, it's Family Day Monday, and which is, you know, some people are like, man, is that discriminatory that it's Family Day? What about people that are singles, like your boy right here? You know, I'm supportive of the family. Single man, but supportive of the concept of the family. I supports it. I supports the family. The family is basically the smallest form of a gang. It's your own small little gang of hoodlums and criminals that you can sharpen and craft the way you want them to be, the types of hoodlums and criminals. Do you want them like legit, like, do you want like legit G street hoodlums and criminals, or do you want like, or do you want to be like, no man, modern days calls for modern times and adjusting to the times. If you want to do crime, you better do like white collar crime. You better, if you want to do crime, petty crime don't pay no more. You can't get away with petty crime. These times like these that you got, if you want to invest in crime, you got to go to like Davos or some shit. Mom and pop crime is dead, ladies and gents. The 70s and 80s, the golden days of getting away with mom and pop crime, over. You want a crime these days, you go to Davos. You get invited to the WEF. But essentially a family is a tiny gang, and you just essentially got to figure out for yourself, what kind of gang do I want to, you know what I mean? What do I want to be producing, putting out there? And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Do you want to, it's a thought that does come to my mind. I am, I try to pace myself with life, although and I like it that way. I'm a little turtle when it comes to life. I'm that turtle. I'm like, and my penis feels like a turtle as well sometimes. It'll just be like, oh, it's cold, we're just gonna go inside today, so physically, spiritually, mentally, I do feel like a turtle sometimes. I'm just like, I like taking my time. I like seeing people go around and I'd be like, what even is first or last place if it's all a circle? Where's the beginning, middle, end of a circle? Is what I say to myself as a person who's I like to, sometimes I do take things fast, but then most times I don't. Most times I go very slow. Most times I go very slow. I like to see it that way, just because like I have to see it that way. I have to take it that way because a lot of my life, I guess, growing up, a lot of it was fast paced. So like with age, little by little, I've been just trying to slow it down a little bit as much as I can. But in certain places, I'm talking slow maybe in the sense of, experiencing certain things. Or I guess rather, it's not even slow or fast. I guess what it is just that it's different. It's different. Just like everybody else's lives are different out there. And that's the thing, man. I don't try to, that's the speed that I like. That's the limit that I want to, slow and fast all at the same time. Like a turtle, but like with the capability of using nitrous. A turtle on nitrous, essentially. This turtle's got some nos in his little booty. You know what I'm talking about? A little bit of just like, oh, what are we doing? We're like, oh, it's, you want to go? You want to, because we could use nos and then we could just fucking like, but then again, I like to be like, let's save the nos. Let's save the nitrous. Because there might be a time where you're like, man, fucking let's hope that we have some night, and that's what it is. It's a slow burn is what I'm trying to say. It's a slow process. All of life, most of life, for your boy anyway, and that's the way I like it. So we'll see where everything is, we'll see where everything is going. I'm very hopeful and optimistic. Obviously, I want people to like, come together in peace, have more shindigs, you know what I mean? Have more, we need more people overall globally, like get along. That's the thing, people like traveling, regular folks I'm talking about, street folks, people from the, everyday folks, people that you see on reg life. People get along fairly, because you do get along with people. You do get along with a lot of people. Come to think of it, the majority of your life you go along getting along with people, despite the fact that you might have a lot of, similarities or differences. You get along with most people, which is the beauty of things. But sometimes you'll read certain things, or you'll hear certain stories or narratives that are being, pushed by the military-industrial complex, or just, global powers. A few people that are in charge here and there that are just like trying to like, create more chaos and fear and instill more, authoritative means of controlling our lives. And it's to those fellas and ladies, I say, take a hike, Jack. You can kick rocks, is what I say to those few men and women out there who are there to be like, because it's weird times, man. You gotta be vigilant on so many different angles. It's not even just about what you do or what you're doing, what you're pursuing to do. It's about maintaining, at least trying to preserve certain things, like little basic things, little the bare minimums need to stay intact, regardless of how we feel about this, that, and the other. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, these things that are all like, freedom of mobility, freedom to do whatever you want with your time, with your money, with your resources, with your business, with your body. All these things need to be the basics that we need to hold dear and near to our hearts and farts, just because it makes a big diff, man. I think recently there was an inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act here in Canada. I think overall the verdict was that was it a court ruling? I don't read too much into it. I didn't hear too much into it, or about it rather. And it's just like, because it's overall, I think they support it. The court ruling was in support of, I guess, the government under Trudeau's, what do you want to call it? Is like, that's the thing. Because about a year ago, was it a year ago or a year or so ago, that we had the Freedom Convoy here in Canada, where truckers all over Canada, drove to demonstrate peacefully because of all the, government overreach and everything. But then the government came in and put in the Emergencies Act. And what that is basically giving the government essentially the ability to freeze your bank account, to freeze your assets, to hinder your mobility, and that's what it is. So these are the times that, and that's, now there's a set precedent, which is no bueno. So how do we turn that around? How do we turn the ship around? Because that's the thing, limited time, limited resources, limited ships. How do we turn this ship around? How do we, and that's, sometimes it gets me to think, and, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that, together we can, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream simulation. Dream simulation. That's where I'm at these days. Dream simulation, but also there's reality. But there's also reality. To deal with certain things, you got to be like, what's up? What's real? Oh man. And that's the questions that you're like asking. We're all just asking different questions, which is nice. That's one of the things that I'm all about, because I don't know much. Really don't know anything, so I try to ask the tough questions. Why do you get more gassy when you have an uptake in dairy? Tough questions, but somebody's got to. It's like your lactose. Am I, fam? Am I? Or is it the percentage of the fat in the milk? 2%, we're fine. 1%, we're fine. 3.547%. Now we're just like, oh, it's fucking fart city up in this bitch. But that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Boys and girls, ladies and gents. Time is, they say time's not linear. But then, so it's not, because it moves forward, but you can always look back. But there's no point in looking back, because we're in the present right here, right now. We're in the present right here, right now, doing it together. I heard recently, if I'm not mistaken, Tiger Woods played a joke that he thought would be funny on the golf pitch, on one of his co-players in golf, or not a teammate, a co-player, an opponent played a joke. He thought it'd be funny. I believe the fella's name, I wrote it down. I hope I'm remembering it right. I'm gonna go with, he was playing against, I'm gonna say Justin Thomas. In my heart, it feels right. I did write it down, and if it's not Justin Thomas, I'm sorry. But at the same time, maybe Justin Thomas was supposed to play Tiger Woods and somebody else took his place. So I'm not sorry. Justin Thomas deserves to be playing alongside Tiger Woods. But Tiger thought he thought he's gonna do something funny. Wrong. Because he did something hilarious instead. He handed Justin Thomas a tampon. Because he wasn't like, Tiger was just like, yo, let's, you know what I mean? Let's go. So I found that hilarious. And, Tiger has always been the type to, be open-minded, and not see people, because a lot of times, and there's a, it's cognitive dissonance, really, because like you'll hear the legacy media always be talking about, he, she, they, them, and sometimes people do the action of handing out, here's a tampon, and all of a sudden you flip it on them and you're like, why are you giving this man a tampon? You don't know, maybe you don't know. So that's what it is. But I find the whole thing hilarious. It was a, and that's the thing. I don't know too much about golf other than the fact of the basics that it takes a putter or a rod and a ball and a hole or multiple holes on the ground, and it looks super easy, but it is immensely difficult if you were to pick up a bat, a golf bat, a stick, a golf club. No, you go to the golf club to play golf, dummy. You don't carry golf clubs at the golf club, because that'd be insane, man. But I don't know too much about golf. All I know is that the lowest score wins. No, wait, the higher the score, the higher your points are. There's points to be scored, and who can be the best when it comes to numbers on the pitch? Field. Golf field. Course? I mean, you can take training for anything, really. Golf, I'm sure there are golf courses being taught on golf courses, which is like, can they not come up with different names for, golf, playing with my clubs at the local golf club? I'm gonna take a course on golf at the golf course. You know what I mean? Just come up with different names. But regardless, the point is that I didn't know that. I know of Tiger as much as, growing up, I know he was like, and is still. I don't know too much about golf. He's one of the best in my eyes. He's probably the GOAT of golf. I don't know anything about golf, but I associate golf, Tiger, golf. It's one and the same. If you say golf, I think of Tiger Woods. If you say Tiger Woods, think of golf. So that was hilarious. I didn't know he was a. That's funny, dude. That's. I love that. That's a sense of humor. That's jokes amongst again fellow gophers or golfers, if you want to be like anatomically correct about it. But the point is, ladies and gents, that it's good to see people showing different sides of themselves, because it's so, that's the thing. Now I know not only Tiger is not only good with the club and the he's good with it. He's good with putting, he's good with the long range, he's got good torque. And alongside that, he's also got a sense of humor, because you're always thinking of it's nice to see different sides of people as all, and people are not these one-dimensional things that you only you shouldn't think of Tiger and only think of clubs and golf clubs, but that's what he's like. He's I don't know the fella. He looks like a good decent human being, and he's got fucking skills for days on the pitch, and that's all I know about him. So now I see this sense of humor added to the list, man. So shout out to Tiger. That's that's really cool to see that. And I think I've heard different interpretations, and that's open. You don't need to, that's people are people, I think we need to just because there's so many things that and I try to catch that within myself, you know what I mean? If I'm trying to at least be aware of it, because I know we all have our biases and our our things that we're okay with or we're not okay with, and it's just there's so many things to be okay with and not okay with in society. There's so many big things to be okay with or not okay with, and so little things like this that actually adds to the human's character and shows the different sides of them. It's neato. It's cool, I think. But there's different interpretations. I say, I think, if anything, if it says anything about Tiger Woods, is that he's open-minded. He's not judgmental. Think about that, because you never know when you're out there in the golf world, because golf is very intense. You might not be, your opponent might not be if you're playing against a woman, she might be going heavy with the flow that day, and it's good to have a tampon or a Tampax on hand. So if you know anything now, how did he even get that though? That's hilarious, Because how would you even have that on you unless like, I don't know, but I like it because it makes me think if me or one of my loved ones or family friends or we're like hanging out with like Tiger and like we're bleeding because like crotchal bleedage for whatever reason, you got a bleeding dick for some reason. Boom, right there, Tiger Woods, or TW as they call him in the game of golf, in the great game of golf. He's known as TW. That's right. Insider info. We're just talking about inside baseball, golf, inside golf now. That's right. We're just talking about inside golf, but that's what it is, man. So it makes me feel like, if I, and because what is the interpretation of that is, to some people say it might have been alluding to that the opponent or the rival or the enemy, they're not enemies. They're just like, it's just for show. They're not enemies. They're buds. Is to be like alluding that he's hitting like a woman. Well, if hitting like a woman gets you to play on the same rank as Tiger Woods, then fuck, I wish I knew how to play like a woman when it comes to the golf. And I don't, like, not like a, I give it a crack. I'll fucking like, I'll take a stance. I've taken the stance before. Like not in a, I'd like to take the stance in court one day. I'd like to be in a jury. I would genuinely like to. I think we could. Do you get paid on jury duty? I'd make great jury duty person if you get paid. If we're not getting paid, then like I'm not doing it. But I would love to be there and just be like, listen to somebody's story, and like when like 9 out of 10 jurors are saying guilty, I'll be like, not guilty, or they're like, not guilty, I'll be like, guilty though, and just to make sure, like, because you gotta, like, if there's a case and we're taking a stance, but we're not even talking about that right here. I'm talking about like having your posture properly fucking like aligned, your shoulders straight out, with your back straight out, with your knees bent, with your back, the proper golf stance. Shoulders straight up, feet wide apart. The wider the better. The wider the stance, the better. Run into it. A lot of people I see stand still and take hits at the old run into it with momentum. Think about that. It's all physics, because same with baseball. Run into the hit. A lot of people stand. I like to run into the hit because it's just physics. If something's coming at you really fast, you come at it even faster. So if the ball's coming at you 100 miles an hour, you come at the ball at 100 miles an hour right there. So if the ball is right there on the golf course and you're like, I'm just going to stand behind it, nonchalant. I want to be relaxed. I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to let out 2.5 farts before I take this shot. I'm gonna leave my tampon in before I take. I'm gonna just like, let me wiggle my tampon around just so I make sure I have enough balance. You know what I mean? But nobody ever thinks about backing all the way up and charging and just smashing that ball. Just smash that ball. Just, you know what I mean? Take a nice swing, a nice curved swing, and it's all in the hips. A lot of people think it's all in the arms or the legs. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. That's what I've been told. That's the way I was taught. And that's the way I'm going to keep on teaching it. Right from the hips, baby. Back it up, swing. Immense amount of force. You want to, honestly, if you're not out there dislocating your shoulder, I don't even know what you're doing out there. So, people come at me, they're like, how do I get my beginnings in the old golf game? How do I become a top-notch player like Tiger Woods, or TW, commonly referred to as in the profession? Start getting a little bit injured. Start picking up in, because if you're not walking around with an ice pack, if you're not walking around, doing hot, cold, I can't even take you seriously as an athlete. If you're not out there with like weird new tech that comes in form of bandages that you see, if you're not wearing some sort of like large blue bandage over some part of your muscular body somewhere, just to fucking, you've seen them in all sports nowadays. You'll see it, and soccer players put some on their thighs. You'll see an athlete that's just got like strips of bandage, like blue bandage or like pink bandages. I don't even know what these bandages do. I think they're like nicotine patches essentially. I think athletes are doping with, and they're, oh man, you got nicotine patches and you're just like wired up and you're ready to go, and people think it's the time and the effort that you put in, but you're sucking on that nicotine, son, through the skin. that dermis do, baby. But the point is, fam, regardless of how you approach it, attack it from the side and use the hips. Feel the motion, ride the wave. That's what I say. Baby boys, baby girls, I hope that your bushes are getting well trimmed, well maintained, getting ready slowly but surely for spring. Summer is upon us, and I have just lost the iPad stops charging right here right now, and it's not working. So we just lost the old power to the old, which is completely fine, because after all, we've had a wonderful day today. The show is about to wrap up, but what I was gonna say before the old iPad, technical difficulties. That's what it is, baby. No worries. It's all good. I wanted to just wish you a beautiful Monday. Hope wherever you are, you're doing well. And again, I hope that you're trimming downstairs. You're ironing out the little wrinkles here and there, getting ready for spring and summer. We're about to kick butt, have some fun doing it. Ladies and gents, thank you for all the love and support. Where can you find these videos? Again, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Instagram. Follow me if you like. Search Rob Sadri or Glad You Made It on YouTube. Check out patreon.com/Rob Sadri if you like to fiscally support the show and see it grow before your eyes. I'll be back here again on Wednesday. Have fun. Love y'all. Talk soon. Peace out.